That's not what this channel is all about.
Although you'd like it to be.
Yeah. Hey guys, welcome to another one of our live session. In fact, it's live session number 78 today. There's
Wow.
quite a lot of them. Anyway, my name is Robin. This is Laura. We kind of are the travel expert of traveling in New Zealand, and we're here to answer all your questions about traveling in New Zealand. But what are we the experts, Laura?
Well, we're the team behind NZPocketGuide.com, which is New Zealand's largest travel guide and absolutely free for you guys to use. It's got thousands and thousands of articles about traveling in New Zealand, whether you're just doing a camper van road trip around the country for a couple of weeks, or if you're coming here for a whole year on a working holiday. We have loads of information and articles on the website to help you guys plan the best trip to New Zealand ever. But if you're not really into reading, we also have this live Q&A session, which is where you are at right now. And we do this every single Sunday at 8 a.m. New Zealand time. So you guys can come onto the live chat and ask your questions about traveling in New Zealand. But if you don't make the live session, we also take questions in the comments section of any of our YouTube videos, and we've compiled those together to go through some of those, depending on how much time we have during the live session. But yeah, we go through some of those as well. But just so you know, times around the world, like I say, it's 8 a.m. New Zealand time.
Somewhere over there.
Oh. 8 a.m. New Zealand time on a Sunday, but around the world, that is on a Saturday evening in the UK and France, sort of Europe area. That's around 9 or 10 p.m. In the US, that's on a Saturday afternoon around 4 p.m. EST or 1 p.m. PST. In India, that's bright and early on a Sunday morning at 1:30 a.m. And in Australia, that's also pretty early on a Sunday morning at 6 a.m.
And in Dubai, it's 12 a.m.
Oh, good to know.
There you go. So as usual, we're going to read every comment that you give us in the live sessions, in the live chat right now, and we're going to answer all your questions. And if we have some time, we'll go over some of the questions we received prior. So we have Anthony Comstock that says, hi from California, USA. Always the first one, Anthony. You're always like bright and early. I love it.
Yeah.
How is it going on your side of the world? Extreme Talota says Morena. So if you guys don't know what Morena means, it means good morning in Maori, which is the local indigenous culture here in New Zealand. Mohammed Danish says, hello, how are you? We're doing pretty well. We had a really busy week this week, but, it's Sunday. We get to relax a little bit. We get to hang out with you guys for an hour. So it's all good.
Yeah.
Kuldeep Sharma says, when will the border open for international students? So we did release a video this week with the latest updates regarding the current global crisis and New Zealand's response. There is no end in sight for students and for the borders for that just yet. But as soon as we do get some news, and we hope we're going to get some news either this week, probably next week, let's be honest. Not this coming week, but the following one. And as soon as we get some news, we will be posting a video about that. So if you want to stay subscribed to the channel, you probably get a notification when we post a video, or you have to click on the bell or one of those things. As soon as we do know, we will post a video. But what's likely to be happening is that it's going to be depending on which country you're from, then the border is going to open for you or not. So I don't think it's going to be like all students can come in. So it will mostly depend on how your country is dealing with the crisis. We'll see what happens. Right now it's just speculation, and as soon as we know, there's
no concrete updates on that just yet.
Heshan says, good morning, Robin, Laura and Robin. How are you doing, Heshan? Good morning. Nice sunshine emoji. I like it. Aju says it's 12 a.m. in Dubai. I got you, man.
Thanks for joining us so late / early.
Matthew Walford say, hey guys, I've seen Ardern. So Ardern is the last name of our Prime Minister, Jacinda Ardern. He's looking into getting visa holders which are stuck abroad back into New Zealand. Do you have any updates on this? So the government is currently doing consultation on that. So that is on the time frame on when it's done. It's literally one of the earliest stage. You know what I mean? The government just said they're doing consultation right now. So for the time that it gets done, it will take quite a few weeks / month. But as soon as we do get updates, as you saw on the channel, we do some different updates. I put the thumbnail, I make them red and yellow, so to make sure that you guys can see them very well. So as soon as we do have some update, we will post them for sure. So stay subscribed. You'll get a notification when that happens. Heshan says, finally, I'm going to Queenstown in August. I'm still struggling to find a good backpacker over there. I went on your suggested accommodation list on the website, still unable to choose one. Please help.
Well, it depends what of. I guess they're all pretty good. It really depends like what sort of thing you're looking for. For instance, there are some large hostels there, like the Nomads Hostel. So if you're looking to stay somewhere, that's got like loads of people staying there and it's really easy to socialize and make friends, that sort of thing. If you're looking for a more social experience, that's a really good one to go to. And they also do free like meals every evening and free breakfast and that sort of thing. So that's another way to find people to socialize with. On the other hand, a quieter hostel that's in quite a nice location is the YHA Lakefront in Queenstown. If you want to stay it's a little bit outside of town, but just a short walk from town. So if you're looking for somewhere a bit quieter, like I say, in a nice location, then that's like on the other end of the spectrum in terms of the hostels. But then there's all sorts of, well, like you've seen on our website, there's all sorts of different ones. There's the, is it called Tahuna Pod Hostel?
Yeah, Tahuna Pod's quite nice.
So that's quite cool because the dorms that they have there are sort of like you're in a pod bunk beds, so you have your own little space. It's a little bit more private than your average hostel.
That's interesting. I mean, I will pick the Absolute. There's a hostel called the Absolute Backpackers. It's quite central. You also get a view from the kitchen and everything, which is really cool. So you get a really good view. It is kind of a good place to socialize as well, and it's much more convenient than the YHA, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So I will pick the Absolute if I were to pick one. You asked me, and something is very subjective, right? Like, and that's why we do. We do suggestion and we always give like a range of offer, but I will pick the Absolute.
Yeah. Well, let us know what are you looking for in a hostel? Yeah. Maybe we can help you out a little bit more. There's also the Juicy Snooze. That is one of the newer accommodations in Queenstown, and that has like a rooftop pizza bar, I think so, or a rooftop bar there, I think so.
Will they be open in August though? I'm not sure they're going to be open in August. I mean, knowing what Juicy is doing, I wouldn't suggest this one. I would go for the Absolute instead.
Okay.
Anyway, just my opinion. Then Matthew Walford say, thank you guys. You're very welcome. So if you guys have any questions, put them in the live chat right now. In the meantime, we're going to go through some of the questions that we received throughout the week. And this first...
Okay, first one. Should we go for George?
Yeah, go for George.
All right. So we got a question from George Gonzalez saying, hello, I have 2 weeks to travel around New Zealand. So my question is, which one do you think is the better option, the travel pass or the FlexiPass? That's for Intercity, for the Intercity buses. Because I'm traveling alone and I don't know so much about New Zealand, so my plan is to reach Milford Sound, but I have no idea how it works and the timetables. Also, how can I find accommodation between trips?
All right. So the first thing that I would like to talk about is nzpocketguide.com. So it's our website in which we put like all our information on there, and it's entirely free for you to use. So for example, we do have an article right here. I hope you guys can see it. It says, what's the difference between the Intercity passes? And in there, we go like in super depth into all the differences and everything. So that should help you, George, be able to find a bit more information and also go at your own pace. You can just read slowly rather than us talking super fast. But we're going to go over your questions right now. And first up, let's talk a little bit about the FlexiPass. What it is, Laura? So what is it?
What it is. So FlexiPass is one of the passes offered by Intercity, and how this works is that, well, like the name suggests, it's their most flexible pass in that you pay for a certain amount of hours that you travel on the bus, but you can use those hours anywhere on the New Zealand map. You can go anywhere around New Zealand using those hours. So say it takes 3 hours to travel between Auckland and Rotorua, then you will be using your 3 hours that you've paid for with your FlexiPass to basically do that trip. So that's the FlexiPass in a nutshell.
So you can use those hours to pay for example, for the ferry in between the Northern and the Fourth Island and the South Island. So there is some flexibility right here. This is why it's called FlexiPass. But This is usually better for someone that has a little bit more time. George said that he has only a couple of weeks. So and then also somebody which would be maybe a little bit more proficient into planning their own trip. It looks like George has having a bit of an overwhelming feeling right now in trying to plan everything for himself. So at that point, the travel pass may be actually better for you. So the travel pass is from the same company, it's still from Intercity, but it does work a little bit differently.
Yeah, so the travel pass is actually doing a set route around the country. So you basically pay to do, well, they have multiple options, so multiple set routes around the country. So that means going either both the North Island and the South Island, or you could choose a travel pass that only does the North Island if that's all you have time for instance. But yeah, basically it's an itinerary set for you. You don't have to pay anything else for the bus travel. You just, hop on the bus and do what they suggest and go to where they suggest to go, which is actually probably the ideal scenario for someone that doesn't know New Zealand very well, would rather not really, do too much planning, just sort of go with the flow, see where they end up. And that's probably a reason to choose the travel pass.
And also the good thing with the travel pass is that there are a couple of very small activities included with that, like the Milford cruise, for example, which is one of your goals in going, in coming to New Zealand. So that may be a really good option for you. Now, with that in mind, Intercity is still kind of the most DIY, do-it-yourself kind of travel around New Zealand, right? So you will have to sort out your own itinerary. You will have to sort out your own accommodation. You will have to seek out and book your own activity. So you kind of have a lot of the bulk work to do for yourself. And if you travel around New Zealand for only 2 weeks, you may want to look into other options. There are some companies like Wild Kiwi or Flying Kiwis, which are two bus companies which offer tours which everything is organized for you. You got the accommodation, you got the activities, you got the whole itinerary. Everything is done for you. And honestly, when you add up everything between the pass, the accommodation, the activities, the prices very much are about the same. They are a little bit more expensive, but we're talking $100 or $200 extra. That is it. So it's pretty small amount of money for an entire week, or an entire 2 weeks trip in New Zealand. So looking at the fact that you are a little bit stressed about booking all the accommodations and everything, I will strongly look into that. So same thing, if you go on NZ Pocket Guide and then you go on prepare your trip and then transportation and then bus, we have a ton of information right here to help you out with that. And with some link to those companies in order to sort all those things out. To have everything organized for you, it is so good. There is also a company called Kiwi Experience that will do something like that as well. So definitely have a look at those options as well. But if you're traveling with Travel Pass or FlexiPass and you are looking to arrive in town and book your own accommodation, there is multiple options to do that. Either you decide to plan ahead and you know where you're going to be and when, and at that point you can go online. You can go on our website, same thing, nzpocketguide.com, and look at all our recommendations of hostels and book your favorite hostel in every places. We strongly recommend to do that, so like that you have peace of mind and you've done all that planning step before you arrive in New Zealand. You know what you're going to be doing with your pass. You know where you're going to be going. You know your dates. If you're only here for 2 weeks, you must know where you're going to with everything, right? So you will have all that done. So I will actually go online and book all those hotels yourself. But you can also just be dropped off by the Intercity and book it yourself by just walking in.
Yeah, so a lot of hostels, considering like in most places, when it's not the high season or the busy season, so the high season in New Zealand is in summer, which goes between December and February. So outside of those months, pretty much any accommodation that you arrive in New Zealand, you'll be able to go to reception and just, go ahead and ask for a room for the night. It's that easy.
Yeah.
New Zealand, pretty much everywhere is pretty quiet for most of the year. But like I say, in the tourist hotspots, especially like Queenstown or Lake Tekapo, if you're even staying in Milford Sound, for instance, there's very limited accommodation down there. So in these sort of, big tourist hotspots, and especially in summer, it will be harder to do this approach where you just walk into accommodation and say, I need a room for the night. So, depending on what season you're traveling, that is also an option for booking your accommodation.
So you've got a couple of options, as you can see. You can either just, go with the flow and just book as you go. But at that point, that gives you a little bit of extra stress, as well as you usually have a little bit less choice. As Laura mentioned, if you travel in a high season, it is likely that you're always going to get a spot. There is going to be a bed left, but it may be in the room, which is a big dorm that shares with 8 different people, or it may be just a private room because all the other options, are overtaken.
Yeah.
So planning a little bit ahead is usually a little bit smarter. However, the one thing I really want to stress is that if you're planning to travel in New Zealand for only 2 weeks, I can't stress enough that you need to plan everything, right? You need to know where you're going and what you're going to plan to do and where you're going to be staying. You're going to have so little time and so much to do that if you spend half your trip trying to plan the next leg of your trip, you're not going to enjoy your trip in New Zealand as much. And that's why I was suggesting to maybe look at a bit more organized kind of tours of New Zealand, like Wild Kiwi, Kiwi Experience, or Flying Kiwi. There's a theme right here. The word Kiwi.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think there may be a little bit of an easier option for you to travel. And also the good thing with those kind of bus tours is that you straight away have a bunch of friends that you're going to be traveling with. So you don't have that feeling of always be alone doing all those activities. I love the social part of traveling with the bus around New Zealand. Plus, if you do have some special requirement, like let's say you just want to stay in private room, or you just want to stay in cheapest option and everything for accommodation, usually you have option to kind of customize kind of what kind of accommodation you want to get, and it is all sorted for you. And on top of that, most of the time there is also meal taken in consideration. It's not always included. Like company like Wild Kiwi, they includes a few dinners and everything like that, along the way. But usually you have a stop where there is a place where you can eat, which is affordable. When you travel around with Intercity, that's not necessarily the case. You have to sort all of that for yourself as well. So you have to plan your meal. You have to plan, I'm going to be in the bus around lunchtime, so I'm going to need to pack myself a sandwich. So I need to go to a supermarket or somewhere to get myself a sandwich and have something to eat in the bus. You have a lot to plan for yourself.
Yeah.
And I feel it's just the way the question was phrased. I felt like a bit more organization and a bit more of a all-inclusive tour was a good option.
And also the fact that you state that you are traveling alone. I don't know if you are looking for a more social experience, so you don't feel like you're traveling alone in New Zealand, but the other bus options, like Robin suggested, like Wild Kiwi and Flying Kiwi, are usually full of other people doing exactly the same thing as you, traveling alone around New Zealand. So you kind of, the people you're traveling with are more open-minded to, speak to you, to socialize with you and that sort of thing. That's just what happens on those buses. Whereas on the Intercity buses, also bear in mind that Intercity is more of a sort of kind of like a national transport, where it's kind of like the vibe of public transport, where you are with people just sort of locals commuting between cities to get to visit family and stuff. So, with that sort of vibe, people aren't really super social on those buses. You might be lucky to sit next to someone who's also traveling New Zealand and might be more open to, sort of traveling with you or being more social. But a lot of the time it's kind of like people just sort of keep to themselves on the Intercity buses. Yes. So that would be a very different vibe to taking one of the other bus tour options around New Zealand.
All right. So I hope that this answered your question, George. If you do have any follow-up questions, or if your name is not George and you have a question for us as well, feel free to pop your question in the comments of any of our videos. We pick them up. We answer them during our live session. It's a weekly thing, and we love doing that for you guys. If you feel like saying thank you for all our hard work, you can hit the like button. It's a free way for you guys to say thank you for all our hard work. And you can also hit subscribe if you are planning a trip to New Zealand and you want some updates, some help, some tips and all that. We publish new videos every single week, actually more than probably about 3, 4, 5 times a week at the moment. So yeah, hit subscribe, all that good thing. And thanks for watching. All right, let's go back to the live chat. Matthew say thank you guys. Anthony is asking us if we on. Yes, we're live. How are you doing, Anthony? Ronak says hello guys, how are you? I hope you're doing well. We're doing really well. We had a busy week, so it feels good to just be sitting down and hanging out with you guys. It just kind of it's our unwinding time and just Visa Production says you both look beautiful today. Oh, that's nice.
Thank you.
It's Laura's aura radiating on me that makes me look beautiful. Usually I'm just an ugly monster. Yeah, she's the beauty and I'm the beast usually, right? Anthony Comstock say I had to reset my YouTube to get on, but I'm watching from Canada, USA. Oh, you had to reset YouTube. That's crazy. Anyway, hello. How are you doing? Ian Collier says, "Hi guys, love the channel. Keep it coming." We will. Any update? Working holiday visas. Planning to visit from the UK in December, January. Thanks. We actually did release a working holiday visa update last week, so you can find the videos on the channel. But yeah, so we get all the information there. At the moment, it's a no-go. And we don't know when that's going to be opening, but we give like all the official information on the video. So right now, I'm just going to give you our opinion. We think it's going to be probably early next year at the earliest, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. And again, that's just our opinion. If you want all the information, you go on our channel. You look at you click on video, and you look at the latest video, and it's bright red and yellow, and it says working holiday visa crisis update, whatever. And we talk about it for about 15 minutes, and we give everything we know about it. John Van Leave says, "Hi guys, I tried to check online but failed to get information and would just like to know if working holiday visas are available for South Africans in New Zealand." Laura, are they?
No, they're not.
No, they're not. Okay, well, I'll take this one.
Yeah.
So the working holiday visa is available from 42 different countries, and sadly, South Africa is not on the list. And that's just because South Africa and New Zealand didn't make an agreement on the working holiday visa. So every single country of those 42 different countries had to make an agreement with New Zealand. And usually it's a reciprocating agreement. So you have people from, for example, from Canada, right? Canada made it really easy for New Zealanders to come and take a working holiday visa. New Zealanders going to Canada have also very easy access to the working holiday visa and so forth. So it's kind of like a government kind of style agreement. And so, yeah, it hasn't been done for South Africa, but we do receive that quite often. So your path to come to New Zealand as a South African is to come on a holiday. So you can come and visit New Zealand and have an awesome holiday and then go back home and continue your life. Or you can start applying for work visas. And then at that point, you get a work visa, and then you can come to New Zealand and work, or even look for work, because you can't look for work on a visitor visa. So yeah, here you go. Mohammed Radwan says, "Hi guys, thrilled to see you as always. Nice chat. What are the popular shops for good quality clothing for cold? Thanks a lot." I'll start with Torpedo 7. It's they have their own brand. Which is usually quite cheap, and they also sell like other brands like Montreal, Columbia, North Face, and all that. So it's kind of a shop where you're going to find everything that you're comfortable with, as well as some typical kind of New Zealand stuff as well. And the price are all right. They have a membership stuff, so if you become a member, which is free, you get big discounts. So you should always be a member. Don't buy things full price. Never buy things full price, especially clothing. I mean, come on, clothing. That's not something you pay a lot of money for.
Yeah.
It's always discounted at half price or something.
Yeah.
Any other brands though?
Another brand you could go for in New Zealand is a place called Hunting and Fishing. You don't really have to be into hunting and fishing to shop here. It's more of just an outdoor store, but they do good quality outdoor clothing and lots of nice warm fleecy stuff. It's kind of where all the locals like to buy their outdoors gear. So that's another good one to go for. And some other popular ones are Kathmandu and Macpac. These ones they're kind of more on the expensive side. They're more on the sort of like looking good, but not always being the best quality. So, they're kind of in between from our experience, right? They're kind of in between. They're really focused on looking good. That's the main focus. The prices are quite high. Yeah.
But then it comes to the use.
Yeah, so it's not always the best quality. Some of their coats, for instance, they're not always super warm compared to at other stores around New Zealand. So there's a big presence of them. Like Macpac and Kathmandu are found in most of the large towns around New Zealand. So they're definitely worth going in and having a look. And they do other they do their own brand clothing, but they also do stock, I think, like North Face and that sort of thing.
No, they don't.
They don't.
No. It's just their own brand.
Just their own brand?
I think so.
Oh, okay. I thought they did some other... Okay, back up. Maybe they don't do their own
I think it's just their own brand. I'm not 100% sure. So for our experience, right, we rather either having items which are very reasonably priced, like from Torpedo 7, for example, which are, quite decent. And, we know it's a reasonable price item. So, it's lifespan, or a normally priced item, which would be like, Columbia and everything that, it's going to last you for a lifetime, right? So you've got those things for a very, very, very long time. And so that's why we usually tend to go to shops like Torpedo 7. if you go for backpack in Kathmandu, usually you pay the premium prices, but you get the item that just lasts, they're all right. So it's kind of like, they are a big part of the local culture because they're local brands and everything. But so far, and it's just from my experience, and that's the thing as well, we shop, right? We just two of us, right? So we did buy a few items from each of the shops and everything, and we use them and everything. But your experience kind of very tainted by the first item you get. You know what I mean? If the first item you get wasn't great, you don't tend to go back to that brand. And that's probably what has happened with Kathmandu and Backpack with us. So we haven't been back to that brand. So maybe the great brand now is just like, a few years back when we got those items, we used them. It was like, it wasn't that great. So we moved on.
Yeah.
So yes, that should give you a good range of shops where you can go, and we actually do have a video where we actually go over gear. So if you type gear GEAR and then nzpocketguide.com on YouTube, you should find a video where we discuss like all the gears and all the shops and everything. Where are we? Jimmy Geddes say hello, Brazilian in Tauranga here. Hey, how are you doing? Yeah, is it as cold as it is for us here on the North Island, on the central North Island?
It's probably warmer in Tauranga.
Tauranga is a beach town.
Yeah.
So it should
and
be
what are
right.
you doing in Tauranga? Are you working there, or are you just sort of visiting to check out the Mount Maunganui or something?
Yeah. Are you picking kiwi fruit around? Is that what you're doing? John Van Leaf says, noted. Thank you for the valuable information, guys. Honestly, appreciate it. You're very welcome, mate. And Joshua Ulrich says, hi. How are you doing, Joshua? How's everything going for you? All right. So while you guys are going again with some more questions on live chat, so again, we're reading everything. So any questions that you may have, we are going to go. Oh, no, someone asking a question. By the time you read this,
I will not be with you.
What?
We challenge you to that.
Well, we see parody. We just read it. So by the time you read this, I will not be with you. So you live and just wanted to say hi. I live in an island just south to India. It's too late. I'm leaving. Bye.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us for
Thank you very much.
time.
Good night. I don't think it's a little bit late for Indians. I think it's 12:30 a.m. in India right now.
It's 1:30 a.m. according to our timing, but I guess it depends on whereabouts you are.
Yeah, probably 2 p.m. 2 a.m. now. So yeah, I understand, man. It's pretty late. Actually, Paradis say, yeah, you got me. Haha. All right, so Apurva Kumar says, hi, just commenting to appreciate how good your channel is. I'm ready to pay for it as well. To pay for it? You don't need to pay for anything. Just chill. It's so cool. But thank you very much for the support. If you do want to reward us, and you are planning a trip to New Zealand, use our website as well. Go on nzpocketguide.com. Let's make these things quite big and something. Just share things. You don't have to pay us. You just share stuff on YouTube and on Facebook and everything, and just kind of tell the world about us, and that's all good. Then we have Santiago Sanchez Uskanga, who so I hope it was kind of all right.
And now Robin is going to say the whole comment.
What? Okay, he says, hola muchachos. I think to say, hey guys, saludo des San Blas, Nayarit Estados Unidos Mexicanos. Hi, my English is a little poor. Say hi again. So hi. I'd probably say thank you or hello from Mexico. I think that's probably what that means. I like the challenge. That was fun. Please don't do that again. Kshitish Shashdeva says, hi guys, it's 2 a.m. Hey Kshitish, how are you doing? That's really late. We got your question. Did you read the link that I gave you on your question, Kshitish? So Kshitish commented on YouTube and gave us a really well-developed questions, and I like to have all this information and everything. So we're working on it. We're probably going to be answering your question next week because I still need to take a few notes for you. But did you read the link that I gave you, and did that help you, Kshitish? Because I gave him a link on nzpocketguide.com, which gave a really good understanding of his answer. So yeah, tell me if you like the link. Mohammed Radwan says, thank you so much for the thorough answer. Do New Zealanders drink tap water? Yes, the tap water is fantastic here. Yeah. You should not drink bottled water in New Zealand. Drink from the tap. If there is a tap, if it happens that there is a tap in which you can't drink the water from, there's a big sign on it that tells you don't drink the water. Yeah. And that's usually is for in dog huts or in and sometimes in holiday parks as well.
Yeah. But everywhere else in New Zealand, if you're staying in any sort of hostel or hotel, motel, Airbnb accommodation, it's perfectly fine to drink the tap water there.
Jane Tay says, I can't sleep, so listening to this live chat, I just want to say hi. Hey, Jane, how are you doing? Thank you very much for listening to us while trying to sleep.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Are we that boring?
I was going to say, our voices might not be like the easiest to fall asleep to, but maybe what we're saying is quite boring. So.
But Laura sings some amazing lullabies, so here you go. I'm joking. Please don't do that to people.
No, I won't.
All right, so Christine Martini says, good morning, Christine, how are you doing? Thank you for joining us another week. That's awesome. And Extreme Talota says, Kei te kaha here koe ki te korero I te maori. I probably butchered that, but my heart was here.
Yeah.
Can you give us a translation of what I just said, the Extreme Talota? So that was something in Maori, which is the local indigenous language here in New Zealand. But obviously, I'm not a native Maori speaker. I'm not even a native English speaker. So me pronouncing that was quite entertaining. All right.
You're getting a lot at speaking.
A lot better, maybe? Maybe a lot better. All right. Thank you very much for the compliment. Anyway, so while you guys are coming up with some questions in the live chat, we will go through a question that we received throughout the week. And this one is from?
This one is from Talia Marie Jones. And she says, question for the live stream. What would you say would be the average / best amount of money I should save for a working holiday visa in New Zealand? I know it says roughly around 4,500 New Zealand dollars. However, I know that won't be enough to survive. I plan on working in New Zealand as well. Would £10,000 be okay as a start, as I was looking to go for the full 23 months?
All right. So, Laura, what is a working holiday visa?
So a working holiday visa is a visa for usually for young people between the ages of 18 to 30, but it depends on which country you're from. Sometimes that age ranges to 35 years old. So it allows young people to come to New Zealand to both work and travel. Usually this visa lasts for about a year, 12 months. But in some countries, that's a little different. Or for some nationals, that's a bit different. For people from certain countries, that might be only 6 months. From people from other countries, that can be extended to 23 months. For instance, like in this question, if it's from the UK or from Canada, for instance, then that can be 23 months. So I think that, that's the working holiday.
So when coming to New Zealand on the working holiday visa, there are a couple of requirements that you have to meet in order to be able to enter the country with a working holiday visa. One of the requirements is to have a medical and travel insurance for the length of your stay. And another requirement is to have the minimum amount of funds in order to fund your travel around New Zealand, so you don't arrive in New Zealand and have no money and, just start struggling. And so usually the required minimum amount of money is 4,500 4,200, I think, New Zealand dollars. And that's really, really, really the minimum. As a rule of thumb, we usually recommend to have 5,500 New Zealand dollars plus your flight and your insurance. That would be what we recommend as the minimum. And having everything else on top of it is usually recommended, because that will allow you to enjoy New Zealand more. Now, when you have that much amount of money on your bank account when you come to New Zealand, that does not mean that you have to spend all that money. It just means that you need to have that just in case you need to do a few things. Now, the reason why we recommend you to have more is because kickstarting a working holiday visa in New Zealand just takes a little bit of time. You need to open a bank account. You need to get an IRD number, which is a tax number in New Zealand. You need to get yourself a New Zealand phone number. You need to find a place where you want to stay in New Zealand in order to start working and traveling and everything like that. So all this kind of process, because it includes a few things that you have to do with the government, like getting a tax number, takes a few weeks. So our usual recommendation is that you arrive in New Zealand, and when you're in Auckland, you kind of do a few of the paperwork, and then you head on the road and you do a bit of either a road trip or bus trip all around New Zealand. So you find a place that you actually do enjoy. And then at that point, in that place, you're going to settle yourself, work a little bit, and then travel again. And that's usually the best way to approach a working holiday visa in New Zealand. We have advised thousands of people on doing working holiday visa, and from our experience, it's the vast majority of people prefer and enjoy their trip more and do more of the trip and have less regrets if they have traveled a little bit before starting to work. So we're talking about months to a month and a half travel around New Zealand before starting working. And so for this reason, in order to be able to travel for a month or a month and a half, even if you travel on a budget, you still need to have a few $1,000s in order to, to actually be able to do things and not just, go to places and just stand still.
Yeah.
So that's why we recommend to have a little bit of cash onto your bank accounts. Also, if you are start with some cash, you're probably not going to spend everything. That means you can live with some cash and you can go and, maybe on your way back home, you can stop in some of the South Pacific islands like Fiji before heading back to cold Canada or UK or USA or very, very hot India or wherever you're going to go. Actually, no, India doesn't have the working holiday visa. So for this reason, we recommend that you have a little bit of cash. Now, so the minimum we say is 5,500 New Zealand dollars. A very comfortable amount would be 10,000 New Zealand dollars. That's usually people which are well prepared, they come with 10 grand. That's pretty good. Now, what's the name of this lady? Talia.
Okay.
Talia offers to, say that she has £10,000. So £10,000, it's roughly, and that's what I was doing on my phone at the beginning of the video. I was just quickly looking at how much it is in New Zealand dollars, and it's roughly about 19,000 New Zealand dollars, which is very, very comfortable. That will not allow you to spend 23 months holidaying in New Zealand by any stretch of the imagination. You would still have to work at some point during your trip, but that will be very, very comfortable, and it's highly unlikely that you're going to spend it all or spend about, you probably won't even spend about half of that, but that will also allow you to travel with peace of mind, and there's nothing better.
Yeah, and also if you're working as well, you're going to be adding to that fund as well. But the good thing about the working holiday visa is that you can work to basically fund your travels around New Zealand. So even if you have got some savings and you've been, saving as much as, £10,000 or 19,000 New Zealand dollars, because you're on a working holiday, you shouldn't have to really go like a crazy amount into your savings if you just keep on topping up your funds with the work that you're doing in New Zealand. So that's the beauty of a working holiday visa.
All right, so if you did find this video useful, make sure to hit the like button. It's a great free way for you guys to reward us for all our hard work helping you plan your trip to New Zealand. You can also hit the subscribe button. We're here every single week to answer all your questions. We release video like about 5 times a week with some more answers, some travel vlogs, all those kind of things. And it's all about traveling in New Zealand. So here you go. And another place where you can find more information about both the working holiday visa as well as budgeting and budget trip in New Zealand is NZPocketGuide.com, which is our travel guide to New Zealand. It's all 100% free, and there are thousands and thousands of articles in which we dive super, super deep into everything to do with traveling in New Zealand. So check it out as well. All right, let's go back to the live chat. What has been happening? Apova says, can you please give some insight on IT jobs opportunities? No, we don't really know about that, man. I think you asked that last week as well. We don't know the IT job market. We're more of a travel channel, so we're more here to kind of talk about traveling or travelers' jobs, like backpacker style job. But the IT, we don't really know much. Christine Martini, I can't pronounce this last one. Christine Martini says, fun question. What brought you to move to New Zealand and what inspired you to start NZ Pocket Guide? Laura, why did you pick New Zealand?
I just really wanted to go to a country which was like super outdoorsy. I'd seen
She watched The Lord of the Rings. That's it. That's the only reason.
I'd seen the landscapes of New Zealand, on the Rings movies, but scrolling through Pinterest and stuff like that as well, I just thought that the landscape in New Zealand looked so amazing. I wanted to go and see if there was like really a place like that. So yeah, that's kind of the main reason I chose to travel to New Zealand.
And why we started NZPocketGuide.com is just because we when we started traveling in New Zealand, literally we were not happy with the travel guides that were there. And if you're not happy with something, you do it on your own, and then it kind of snowball, and then it became as big as it is, and that's basically it. But we feel like a complete guide it takes some like people that actually live and travel here almost all the time. You can just have a travel writer that goes for a couple of weeks and that writes a few words, and that and then you print a book and you sell it for $50 everywhere in the world. We think it's just not okay, and it you have to go. Everybody travels differently. Everybody has a unique experience. It takes such a financial tool and environmental tool to actually travel to New Zealand. It's a lot of CO2 for each passenger plane that comes to New Zealand. And so if you come to New Zealand, it has to be an enlightening experience. And the only way to do that is to have a personal trip, which is personal to yourself. And we feel like having that much information on our website help people actually achieve that and, actually make those trips worth it and those sacrifices worth it. That's just basically our thought behind that.
I like that, Robbie. Very well said.
Top of the morning to you, lady. Santiago says it's right now on your time is 2:30 p.m. on Saturday where he is. He's in the Pacifico between Mazlatan and Jalisco states. So thanks for saying hi. You're very welcome, mate. Super Just Meister says, do you have any recommendation on the Kapiti Coast area? Yeah, we actually have on nzpocketguide.com. We have full articles on like what to do and everything. I like the Queen Elizabeth Park. I think it's quite stunning over there. It's definitely worth spending an afternoon there. What do you like over there as well?
Also, another good place to go is to Kapiti Island itself.
Yeah.
The reason to go over there is that it is a bird wildlife sanctuary. So the island itself is free from predators that would otherwise, threaten native New Zealand birds. So it's like, the island is full of really amazing birds. You can see kiwi birds there if you go. There's an experience to stay overnight there, but so that would be best to see kiwi birds. There's also kaka, which are a type of parrot, which are really cool to see, and then tons of other birds. So you can take a boat or a ferry from there from a town called Para Umu Umu. So that's a really good place to go to, and it's definitely worth to go over there and see some really cool New Zealand wildlife.
Here you go. And there's also a car museum, but, we like more the outdoors.
Yeah.
Mohammed Radwan say, it's me again. Do you have medical aid in New Zealand? Adult and kids differences? Yes, so there is universal health coverage here in New Zealand. And if you want to see how that works and see us use it, find the video about us climbing Mount Manaya. So you type NZ Pocket Guide on YouTube and then you type Mount, MT, and then Manaya. Can you spell it for people?
MANAIA. Manaya.
Yep.
Yeah.
So if you type that on YouTube, you watch the video and we're just hiking and then something happens. And then you see how the health system in New Zealand works. That's all I'm going to say. But yeah, so check it out. I will, when I finish reading the comment, I will type Mount Manaya right here on the. Actually, can you type it while I keep reading comments? So yeah, so I'll type that for you so you'll be able to find that video and you'll see how that works. Here you go, it's there. Anna Maria Chang. Good morning, Anna.
Hey.
She says, I really want to know if there is another visa like the work and holiday. There is a ton of different visas, but the best one to come and visit New Zealand is a visitor visa. You get a visitor visa and you get to New Zealand, you get to travel around, and it's quite awesome.
Yeah. And the visitor visas are also quite long. For most countries, it's 3 months that you get to stay in the country for. And in other countries, they're even as long as 6 months. So although it doesn't allow you to work in New Zealand, if you want to do an extended trip in New Zealand, then there's certainly the visitor visa is the best one for that.
Christine Martini says, thanks, I'm doing good. I can't wait until the border opens so we can come to New Zealand. Well, we can't wait either. We need more people coming around, It's more fun. And also as well, usually the live chat and the comments and those sessions like that, they're a little bit more fun because most of our time at the moment is just to tell you, oh, no, the border is closed, you can come, or we don't know when it's opening. And, I can't wait to just say, okay, so you come to New Zealand for 3 weeks. Let's do a whole trip for you and everything. It's more fun for us as well. So. Yeah. Wesley Gibson says, good morning. Good morning, Wesley. Morning. How are you doing? And he asks, do you know of any good bakeries in Wellington which are affordable? Leeds Street Bakery is quite good. And there is one called Wellington Sourdough, yeah. I can't pronounce that word, but Wellington Sourdough is actually pretty good as well. So that would be the two one I recommend. I don't know how affordable that is because every time I go to a bakery, I just go for a treat. You know what I mean? I don't go for some,
the bread or the
exactly. So if you go for something, like if you go for a treat, usually the affordability is not necessarily the main point. But I think if you pick between those two words, you should have something quite good. Mohammed Radwan says, options for my wife to learn English in Invercargill. Is it expensive? It really depends. You will have everything in between. But if you want a cheaper option, online courses are always the best option. Thank you very much. You're very welcome. And Kshitij says, yes, Rob, I really like the itinerary, but I wanted a detailed answer from your side. Eagerly awaiting for next week. It's not going to be as detailed as the, an article which has, I think this page that I sent you has 2,500 words. So it's not going to be as detailed as that, but, we'll have fun with the map and we'll do that. And you also say, do we need to book all activities, bungee, skydive, swing, etc. in advance? How many months before traveling in December? So right now, I wouldn't book anything because we are not sure that the borders are going to be reopened in December. And actually, if you watch our video when we actually discuss the New Zealand, press release and everything like that, our opinion, and that's not the official word, but our opinion is like probably not going to be open in December. So, and we'll release some more videos about that soon. So I wouldn't book anything just yet until you know for a fact that the borders are open for your country. As you'd say, that was a touching comment, the reason why NZ Pocket Guide started. Awesome. Oh, you're very welcome. And Christine says, lol, you pronounce the Forsyth, correct? It's like saying foresight. Oh, foresight. Okay, now I get that. Yeah, long last name, my maiden name plus my husband's name. Yeah, that's a lot to keep. Whew, I will hate having to type all that in all the online forms. Like so many online forms, you have to type so many things. It's crazy. So yeah, I will just pick one. Actually, even, very often I just go for Rob.
I would just go for the first name. I'd officially change my name to, in this instance, if it's Christine, I would just be, I'm Christine.
And actually, usually, in most places, right, most online form, I just go for Rob. And then for my last name, I just put my initials, so one letter.
Yeah.
That's to tell you. So I stick to 4 letters in total. R-O-B and then my initial, that's it. So that is how lazy I am in typing my full name. There's just so many forms online nowadays. Whew, yeah, crazy. Okay, another reason, actually, that just came to my mind and why you shouldn't book your trip or anything just yet is that there is a lot of airlines that actually don't even give refunds. So, for example, we had some flight booked with Air New Zealand, and obviously it was cancelled because of the crisis. And they actually do not offer refunds for those flights. So they just give you a credit, which is only valid for 12 months. And all the price of the flights are all going really, really up. So this flight that we booked, that was, return flight for 2 people with all the luggage, right now does not even cover 1 person return flight. So the price have more than doubled. And this money is now locked with Air New Zealand, and they decided to keep it, despite the fact that Air New Zealand is mostly publicly owned. So it's owned by the government, meaning that, technically I own a part of the airline. Laura owns a part of the airline because we,
are New Zealand,
we're New Zealanders, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And on top of that, the New Zealand government has given hundreds and hundreds of millions, I think it's 600 or 900 million to Air New Zealand because of the current crisis. So on top of it, we give them extra money, but they do not offer refunds. So it's
take from that what you will.
So yeah, take what you will from that. But that means that's an even better and greater reason not to book anything, because if you do, you may end up in the same situation that we are, and that's a bit frustrating.
Yeah,
we will use that credit within the next 12 months because we do travel quite a lot, obviously, to create this guide and everything. But that makes a big difference into a budget,
Yeah.
And you've got to be aware of that. So I wouldn't book anything until you can start. And on top of it, the fact that you can start traveling right now or not doesn't depend on you. It doesn't even depend on New Zealand. So if New Zealand decide we'll reopen the borders, they probably will reopen their border. Yes, but they will reopen the border only to countries that have, that are probably free of any crisis or anything like that, or have it extremely under control. So for that reason, you don't just have to wait until New Zealand decide to do anything. You have to wait until your own government as well do something, because you also need to be able to fly back home. So there's just so many things in between right now that I wouldn't book for December. I just want to put it there. I wouldn't book a trip to New Zealand just yet until you actually can travel.
Don't do any gambling. Don't gamble with your trip to New Zealand right now. Just sort of know what you want to do, where you want to go, and then basically be ready to book as soon as you know that the borders are open,
exactly,
that there are flights available to New Zealand from where you need to take your flight from, and that's when you need to start booking.
Take for more experience.
Yeah.
We have NS Oxus. Did I pronounce that right? Can a software engineer find a job easily in New Zealand? So again, we're very much of a travel channel here. So when we talk about job and work in New Zealand, we usually talk about temporary, seasonal jobs, like things in hospitality, retail, fruit picking, those kind of things. That's the kind of job that we cover right here. So we don't really know much about that. But I'd say yes, like software engineer is always something that people need. I feel like, there is an IT crowd in New Zealand. So I'd say yes, but I will definitely, look into it seriously rather than just asking, travel people like us. So yeah.
Although we're not experts in particular fields or careers, like software engineering, obviously we don't know much about that specific job. But in New Zealand in general, there's usually sort of the job market. There's quite a lot of jobs in comparison to workers. So finding any kind of job in New Zealand, as long as you've got the skills and the qualifications and you're a good worker, then usually it's pretty easy to find a job in New Zealand. So that's more what we can sort of provide to you as information on a more general terms is, jobs in general are usually pretty easy to find in New Zealand.
So Extreme Talota says, Kia pai te raka kite koe inga rai ahere ake. Sorry about that. So he says, have a good day, guys. See you next week, Sunday. See you Sunday. Thank you very much for joining us. Teresa Beran says, good morning, guys. How are you doing, Teresa? Morning. Thank you for joining us. You joined us for like the last 10 minutes. So if you have a question, put it in now. Wellesley Gibson says, thank you for replying and your work, guys. You're very welcome. What are your favorite trampings around Wellington? I think Cape Palliser is really fun. There is a hike around the pinnacles as well.
Yeah, the Putangirua pinnacles.
Yeah, so that requires you a little bit of a road trip, but that's really cool.
Otherwise, in Wellington City, there's actually quite a lot of, surprisingly, there's quite a lot of walks and there's actually quite long walks to do sort of around the, what they call the town belt, the green belt around the city centre, which takes you up into some of the more hills and mountainous areas around Wellington. For one of a really popular walk it's quite short is up Mount Victoria, which is easily accessible from the city centre, and it's just walking uphill in one of the suburbs on top of a good lookout where you can get some good views. We have an article on nzpocketguide.com which lists all the walks in Wellington or around the Wellington city area. But if you're looking for walks in a particular suburb around Wellington, for instance, in Upper Hutt and Lower Hutt, we have articles on all the walks around those areas as well. So if you go onto nzpocketguide.com and if you search in the search bar, for instance, walks Wellington or walks Upper Hutt, walks Lower Hutt, we have all the appropriate articles there where you'll find everything you need, basically, if you're looking to do walks around the Wellington area.
And if you are currently in Wellington, Zealandia, which is an awesome, a natural park with a lot of native birds and everything, I think it's free at the moment because of the whole crisis and everything. They want locals to enjoy themselves. So you can go to Zealandia, and there's some really awesome, just walk the tracks there and see the awesome birds. NS Oxus say, okay, thanks from Turkey. You're very welcome, mate. Shitty stays, thank you, Rob and Laura, for the great advice. I really appreciate it. No problem.
You're welcome.
Shaul Amuzan says, how to get the citizenship in New Zealand? You have to go on the immigration.govt.nz, which is the Immigration New Zealand website, and then you have to follow all the prompts and put all the information there and everything and see which is your path for residency, and it will tell you what you need to do. Ajay says, what about the giveaway, guys? I was all prepared today from head to toe. Damn, we forgot about that. We'll do it next week. We'll do another giveaway next week. Did I say we were doing one the following week? I wasn't sure. Oh,
no,
yeah?
You didn't say on the last slide.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Well, we'll do it. We do a giveaway next week.
We are doing one next week.
Here you go.
Be prepared from head to toe next week.
Yes.
You can sort of relax now. Nothing crazy is happening in this live session, but next week,
guys, if you guys join us, we'll do a giveaway. Last week we did one, and someone with the name tag the Engineer 77 got himself some New Zealand treats and cups and those kind of things, and we shipped that to him or her on the other side of the world. I'm going to respect the engineer's privacy, and I'm not going to say where he or she is from, but all the way to the other side of the world it's going, and I'm going to ship that, at some point next week, probably on Thursday next week, if you want to be specific. That's where I'm going to ship that. So here you go. So yeah, next week we'll do a giveaway. We'll do a bit of a game. We'll come up with something and we'll do a bit of a game. So if you join us, we'll send you something nice from New Zealand. The reason we do that is because we know that a lot of people are kind of locked home, or it's a bit gloomy right now in the world. So we want you to have a nice little parcel from New Zealand to look forward to. And so we'll do that next week just to have a bit of fun.
Yeah.
And we'll come up with a fun little gift. We'll go shopping. We'll go shopping at some point this week and get you something ready. Okay. So in the meantime, this is what is happening at the moment with New Zealand. NZ Pocket Guide. So first up, we're doing 1 million updates on the website. So if you do see any bugs or anything like that, it would be so amazing if you guys can actually tell us. You can send us message on Facebook. You can send us messages on any of the comments on any of the videos and everything. If you see any bugs on the website, just tell us so that we can try to fix that. It's just when you do updates, sometimes you try to fix something and you break something else. It does happen. So yeah, so we're doing that. We also do a lot of content update, making sure that everything is up to date for you guys. So like that, nzpocketguide.com is always up to date for you guys. We also have some more videos coming up for you guys this week. So we have some questions that we answer for you guys. And we also have some of the look backs at some of our awesome travel videos. Since you can't do much right now, we just look back at those things and give you some update on those. So there's plenty of those one coming up. And on Sunday next week, we are coming back to you guys with a giveaway. Thanks to Aju, which is poking us right now, say, I want to get something. So we'll come up with a fun giveaway for you guys next week. So don't miss that out. If you join us, we don't have that many people watching usually. We have at most, we have 20 people. So you have one chance out of 20 to win something. That's pretty good. And we'll answer all your questions. And that's going to happen at 8 a.m. on Sunday, New Zealand time, which is in the UK or France, it's 9 p.m. or 10 p.m.
That's on a Saturday.
Saturday. In the USA on Saturday, it's 4 p.m. EST and 1 p.m. PST. If you're in India, it is on Sunday, but it's at 1:30 a.m. If you're in Australia, it is on Sunday also at 6 a.m. So that's the time around the world where you can catch us up. But if you can't make it, you can put your questions in the comments of any of our videos. And we're super happy to go over those. You saw us going through a couple of them today. And we do that. So like that, it helps everyone rather than just, answering one-on-one all the time. We just do a video. So if someone is searching or Googling that answer, they get the answer as well. And that's usually all thanks to you guys. And thank you very much for joining us. Subscribe, hit the like button, ring the bells, do all those lovely things. That's always helpful to us. And, so like that we can be helpful to you. And thank you so much for joining us one more day. And Teresa said, good morning, guys. How are you guys today? We are very well. Thank you very much, Teresa. Next time, join us 1 hour earlier next week. Same time next week, just an hour earlier. That'd be awesome to have you on board. Bye-bye, guys. Thank you very much.
See you next week and stay safe.